guys, Steve Wolbach, your friendly public adjuster. Today what I wanted to talk about, I wanted to go over the process of filing a claim and how it works when you have a public adjuster involved. Public adjusters can get involved at two different intervals. We either come in the very beginning, meaning that prior to the insurance company being called, you would call us, we'll come out. The other way is where you've already called the insurance company, they've come out, they've looked at things, we're coming in after the fact, and they've already put together an estimate, have given you some numbers, and perhaps you weren't very pleased with where the numbers ended up, and that's why you called us, and we're going to come out and represent you now and see about increasing that number to the best of our ability. That is known as a reopen. So that's the two situations where a public adjuster gets involved with helping you during a claim process. So we're going to talk about the very beginning one, and that's before the insurance company is involved. So what happens is, obviously, you're going to call us up. We come out to the home. First thing we want to do is we want to look at your insurance policy. We want to look at the declaration page and see what level of coverage you actually have. We need to determine that because depending on what type of coverage you have, you may or may not have protection for the peril, the damage that you've just suffered. And if you don't, there's no sense for us to spend any more time there. You should not file a claim, let's word it that way, right? Because you're afraid that all of a sudden you're going to get hit with the fact that you've filed a claim and now that you have a claim on you. If you suffer damage and you've definitely suffered a loss, the insurance company would be able to compensate you for that. They would, what they call, indemnify you, make you whole. You should go for that. You want to do it smartly. You want to make sure that you have representation to maximize your policy, to make sure that every rock is turned and every stone is looked under, to make sure that you're being treated completely fairly during that process. So anyway, now let's move back to, we come out, we take a look at the policy. We see the level of the policy. Let's, for the sake of this video, we're going to say that you've got the coverage now. This is what took place. Okay, I can help you. I explained to you exactly what our service would be. There will be a fee. I'll explain to you what the fee is. We also tell you that the fact of, as I represent you now, there will be time and effort spent from our company helping you. All through this process, it doesn't cost you 1 cent. Speaking to the insurance company, we don't advise you to do that. Since you've retained our services, if you hear from the insurance company at any point during that process, you should let them know that we're involved and give them my number, and they can then interact with me. There's no reason for you to be discussing the claim or anything else, and I'll address a little bit more when we get further. Okay, so once we do that, I have paperwork I need you to sign. And some of the paperwork is what the contract is, stating that we are going to represent you. For that, we will be getting a fee from the insurance company check when they pay. There's another one that's known as letter of engagement. There's a form for the mortgage company. There's some other forms there as well. So we have all the paperwork done. Actually, prior to that, I was a little premature. We need to actually take a look at the loss. Now that we've looked at your policy and we know the level of coverage that you have, and that we can look at the damage, and we do what we call a field scoping. So we're going to collect the information of just what was damaged, to what extent it was, how much damage occurred, and any square footage. Plenty of pictures will be taken. At that point, once that's all been worked together, that information will be collected to make an estimate, prepare an estimate, as then we will be taking that and discussing this with the insurance company. So once we've gotten all that information, we'll have paperwork signed. And now with the paperwork, we're going to have, we'll discuss, there will be a fee. The fee is not paid by you. The fee would actually come out of the proceeds that we get. So when there's an award of the check, that is when you are indemnified, the insurance company cuts a check, there would be a fee that will come out of that check for our services. And historically, it's been proven that when we do that, the fact that you've retained our services, the value that we've added, we've gotten you additional funds that you end up with a better settlement than if you would have done this on your own. Statistically proven time and time again. So even though there's something in it for me, because of my efforts, your check from the insurance company will be larger, which offsets that, and you come out still ahead. So that we have those papers signed. There's something called a letter of engagement. That is something where we have the you will sign, which is authorizing us. We send that to the insurance company, notifying them that we are bringing a claim to them, and that we will be representing you, the homeowner, which is their client, during the claim process. That also gives them information that they are to interact with us and act with us. So instead of them saying, well, who are you? We don't know who you are. Well, this document says who I am, and therefore, let's work together to get this resolved for our mutual client. There's sometimes mortgage papers involved and some other things that are involved. So there's paperwork that's signed. Now we are officially bound together here. We leave. An estimate will be worked up. Once we have that estimate compiled and we put together our case, now we will reach out to the insurance company, and with knowing what your schedule is, notify the insurance company that a claim is being brought to them now on your behalf, and that we need to schedule for them to assign an adjuster to the project, the claim, and that we will then coordinate schedules, again, making sure that your schedule permits this, and we will then bring the insurance adjuster to the home, and we will present the claim to that individual. That individual will take some of their own information, but we will be leading that process. Your input will be very, very small, if any. You may be, hi, you're the homeowner. Okay, well, let me take you through now this thing. Once they've had a chance to walk through things, they've made their notes, they've taken some pictures, that adjuster will go back and he will now work on his estimate. So we have ours, they will formulate theirs, and then we meet, and it can either be exchanged. We won't be meeting in person normally. Well, I shouldn't say normally, but a lot of times things are just emailed. We've both been at the site. We've hopefully looked at the same thing. That we will send ours of what we feel we're requiring, and they have theirs. They will send their estimate. We exchange estimates is the bottom line. And then we start to discuss, well, what about this? I see you paid this, but you're saying you're not allowing this. Well, why wouldn't you allow this? This is certainly, well, you think that, so there may be some contesting from the insurance company. Do I think so? Yes. There is always something. Very, very few estimates. Once you get to know different adjusters back and forth, there's a rapport that's built, and things can sometimes go very smoothly. But that's not always. There's no guarantee on that. But we want to remain professional. We have a job to do. They have a job to do. We're both representing an entity. I'm representing you, the homeowner. They're representing the insurance company. And we're using the policy of the guidelines of how we will hash through this. Once we come to an agreement, we've gone back and forth. Maybe I've said, all right, well, I don't need to have so much here, but you need to be able to take care of this, and there's a little give and take. Bottom line is, we come to an agreement. That is what is officially known as a settlement. Now, sometimes, like for example, with the roof issue, if we have a dispute over a roof and the insurance adjuster says that, well, I think this was normal wear and tear. I don't believe that this was wind damage, as you said. Even though we did have recently 40 to 50 mile an hour winds, I think those shingles had come off from some time ago, and that was not a direct result of that. We want to send out a roofer. Some insurance companies, there are some more than others that when you have a roof issue, you can guarantee they're going to be sending out a so-called, and I don't do that very often, I got to practice that, roofing expert, a roofing engineer, whatever term you like to use, and they're going to take a look at the roof, and then their findings, it's amazing. The findings always seem to favor the insurance company. Oh yes, this is normal wear and tear. This is something just from age. This should have been maintained better. And then we have to go back and forth some. And then there are some options that we have to work our way through that. What happens there is that causes a delay. That doesn't always happen. And like I say, not all insurance companies do that, but there are a few that, like clockwork, are going to do that to you. That's just the way it is. Anyway, so once we get all that worked out and we do agree, a check will be cut. The check will be cut. We have to have some signatures on it. Once the check clears, homeowner gets paid, we get paid, everybody's happy. That is the normal process there. Now, the other process would be is when we come in after the fact, and like I say, that would be step by step of how you can expect a claim to go. Now, sometimes you may also have a situation, maybe if we're flooring, and we're disputing about the floor and what needs to be done with the floor. We may bring in a floor guy and say what types of products are available. You know, perhaps this was a type of floor with a certain design that isn't available anymore, and the insurance adjuster feels that, oh no, this should be able to be done. These materials are still readily available, and you know, we say no, we don't believe that's true. So we bring somebody in, and they'll have to come out. Again, we will coordinate that with you, the homeowner, to make sure it's convenient, and then we will meet and get that opinion of somebody that's right in that industry, that business. So like I say, those are things that sometimes can be some delays along the way. But normally that would have been the procedure of how a claim would actually go. Like I say, the other one is where you've already called the insurance company, the insurance adjuster has been out, he's looked at things, he's been extremely friendly, very happy with you. If he would have known it was your birthday, he would have brought you a birthday present. He wasn't aware, he's very sorry. But he goes, he works up an estimate. Next thing you know, there's an email and stating that there's a check in the mail to you, and it's for $3,800. The damage was $4,800. You had a $1,000 deductible. Here's your check, and you have $3,800. And when you call a contractor and he's looking at things, it's like, well, the contractor's coming in at over 10 grand. What am I going to do with $3,800? That's not getting me things. And then he says, well, the cabinets, they aren't included. That my policy doesn't cover for replacement of cabinets. There's where, when people find out that there's such thing as a public adjuster, I need help. Then we come in, and like I said, we're coming in after the claim has been well established. The insurance company has already had their way with you. They've decided what they're going to do, and that's it. Now I come in. Again, I'll discuss what my fee is. I'll discuss what we need to do. And any monies that you've already been paid, you've been paid. You know, that's yours. I have nothing to do with that. Any additional money I will get for you now during my new representation, I get a fee from. And then we would still go with the insurance adjuster's already been out there. It's more of just us getting together. And then we would ask to see the insurance adjuster's estimate. We would submit our estimate once we put that together. And we'll go back and forth and say, well, this is why we think we should be up at whatever the figure is. And that, $3,800 just isn't going to cut it. So we'll go back and forth on that until we can come to a resolution there. Now, there are some options that when if the negotiating breaks down between the two adjusters, the public and the insurance adjuster, there's something that's called appraisal. We can go to appraisal. So guys, that's how we would wrap that up. We will come in after the fact and represent you as I explained, and we'll go from there. We will make sure that your policy is represented to its fullest and that you would be paid fairly and completely on all the damage that took place. We need to address that. He needs to know that these things have been damaged as a result of that peril that took place, and that is all part of your loss. And because of that, these things have to be paid on. And when we go back and forth with that. So guys, that's what I wanted to share with you. That's how a claim goes. Hopefully I didn't speak too fast. You understood what we said. If you have something that's going on right now, this would be one of those where we'll come in after the fact. If you have something in the future, or you know someone that just had an issue and they haven't really done anything yet, they're still sort of, oh geez, I can't believe this happened. Well, what am I going to do now type thing. Have them reach out to me. Let them see this video. Let them get an idea of what we do, what our expertise is. Can we be trusted? We are what's called licensed and bonded. The insurance field industry is highly regulated. I have to jump through hoops to make sure that my license stays in good standings. And if I start to deviate from there, I can lose that. The insurance and banking commissioner can pull that from me. I don't need that. I don't need the insurance commissioner to pull that from me. So we're under the Department of Insurance and Banking, and as insurance companies have complaints waged against them, every once in a while there's a complaint against a public adjuster. Some public adjusters are not very good. Some just aren't. Others are. What can I say about that? Do some homework. Look around a little bit. Insurance companies, you get complaints all the time about them. They're very big though. See, it's for an insurance company, it can roll off their back real easy because they're just so deep in their foundation. The funds that they have, the reserves, the resources they have, compared to a public adjuster. You can't compare the two. But we go up against them all the time, and we do that for your benefit. We do that to help you. Guys, if you like what you heard, would you give me one of these? If you know somebody, again, that might be in this situation, would you please reach out to them and share this with them? Let them see this. This might be some help for them. Also, would you subscribe to my page? I appreciate that very much. Guys, have yourselves a beautiful day out there, and God bless you.